To me, I really wanted to show that there was some severe damage. You know, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff had happened to him, and that had kind of formed him. You know, all Vader's experiences have formed him into what he becomes. We get to do stuff that I've basically been imagining since I was a kid.
So this is the burnt Anakin stroke Vader makeup on Hayden Christensen, and this is what's going to bridge the transformation between Anakin and Darth Vader.
Oh my God! Look at this. Oh God!
What's really freaky is that your eyebrows and your eyes that you're in there.
So what?
That's a
scene all the fans are waiting for.
Yeah.
For him to come out of that pit looking like this.
Yeah.
Another prosthetic was my first time, having to, be burned.
Slide down this way. Keep coming down, and then you're going to put your feet up here. Yeah, up there on that. Set. And action! We know from Return of the Jedi what he looks like, so we use that as our model, that he's been all burned up in a volcano. And that was in, say, the original backstory. I felt it was important that we actually see that happen, so that we could see the consequences of these bad things that he did.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Because of Obi-Wan.
Because of what you've done. What you plan to do.
He forces his friends to turn against him, which is heartbreaking.
You were the chosen one!
Obviously, one of the key elements in Episode 3 is that we see him actually put into the Iron Lung. The mask finally close on him, that now he's an artificial man, but we know what's inside of it. And I think it's a new part to 4, 5, and 6 that people haven't seen yet. The man in the suit comes into being a more personalized character than what he was originally.
One of the main things is, well, it's not from here, but I can use my knowledge from the books and stuff to throw this in there. So Vader has to go through, Anakin has to go through this massive transition. Sure, he gets chopped up, sure, he burns up and all that stuff, but there's more to it than that. The guy is tortured beyond just his soul of losing his wife and betraying his friends and this and that. And, losing his wife to the idea that he could save her. Literally, that's the reason he lost her. And then, so there's so much more to it. There's the physicalities that a lot of people don't know, which Sidious designed specifically so that he would suffer. A lot of his suffering came from, of course, internal, but a lot of it came from external as well, such as his helmet had a million different needles that would just pinprick him and go into his head and connect to his nervous system. There was a long tube that went all the way down his trachea because he could only whisper like this. He couldn't really talk. He had to undergo so much maintenance with his body because his skin would constantly release this necrotic flesh, and it had to be scrubbed by machines, by droids. So once all of his robotic limbs were taken off him and he was just a stump that was hanging in the middle of the room, all these droids came by and started scrubbing all of the dead flesh off of him. The smell, the feeling, everything was just putrid. It was absolutely horrible. He couldn't sleep because the lights were so bright on his central console in his chest that it would light up the room and it would constantly be blinking. That, in conjunction with the fact that he made this loud breathing noise whenever he wasn't in his chamber where he could take his helmet off, delivered tons of insomnia. Then there was the phantom pain of losing his limbs, and the actual cybernetics that were digging into his flesh and pushing in and really hurting him. But herein lies the power, is that he would use all of these discomforts, emotional, physical, all that stuff, to really harness his dark side powers and really own his emotions.